Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, here to talk to you guys about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. So, obviously, hope you guys, on the East Coast, or for those who, don't really have to wait for WWE Netflix to, kind of surface like you did on YouTube TV. Not throwing any shade at YouTube TV or whatever, but, surprisingly, I was a bad boy. I was a bad boy whenever I do these, Monday Night Raw. Usually, I don't get access to actually watching it, but I actually did today. So we're gonna go through a little bit of WWE Monday Night Raw talk. Usually, I do like a little bit of a preview, but we're just gonna go through the whole shebang and just gonna get through it. And then in our second segment, we're going to talk about WWE NXT New Year's Evil. And then in our third segment, we have the top moments of WWE Monday Night Raw. And in our fourth segment, we got the top moments of our WWE SmackDown. And in our fifth and final segment, we're going to talk about some New Japan professional wrestling. We're going to talk about Wrestle Dynasty. We're going to talk about the results and stuff like that. But before we get into any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link. Also, hit up that super chat, whether if you guys are going to bring a question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Professional wrestling. I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. So, of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. Criticisms are bound to happen. Usually, people don't agree all the time, and it's okay. It's all good. It's all gravy. It's all water under the bridge already. We just want to make sure you guys feel like your voice is heard. Want to make sure you guys feel like your chat is worthy, so make sure you guys, don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button so you guys can get some cool notifications whenever, when we go live. So, it's very beneficial for all of us. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started. We have our WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix premiere. And like I said, usually I try to restrain myself from attending or watching WWE Monday Night Raw before the show starts. But this time it was different. And, and I feel like nowadays, in terms of WWE, like obviously, it being on Netflix, it's going to be more accessible for not just people living in the United States like me and you or whatever, or whoever's watching from America. But now it's going to be accessed all over millions and millions of different, audiences. There's so many different demographics that now have the access to watch some professional wrestling. Usually that's, WWE, I feel like it's more accessible than the NFL. I feel like it's more accessible than obviously Major League Baseball and the NBA. And I just feel like, in the nations of like Saudi Arabia, obviously Germany, France, England, wherever you want to watch WWE, now you kind of have more of a, better, bigger, more, what's the right word? Proximity? No, that's not the right word. I just wanted to sound smart, so I'm just kidding. No, because Monday Night Raw is now, it's going to be easier to get to. It's going to be easier to get to. It's going to be easier to watch. Obviously, if you have a Netflix subscription, it's going to work out well. So, usually I had to wait on YouTube TV on the USA Network. I was like, all right, come on, let's get it going. Had to wait to 8 p.m. Pacific time. But now I was able to kind of see it, I was able to kind of watch it, and we're going to go over it in our first segment. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, first and foremost, the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix, we have Pat McAfee returning to WWE, going back on the mic. I got to be honest, I'm a huge fan of this. I love seeing Pat McAfee. Michael Cole is like the standard of WWE. Before it was kind of like, it was like Jim Ross's. It was his company, but after they parted ways, WWE and Mr. Ross. Now it's kind of fallen into the hands of Michael Cole. And Michael Cole, although he did play some heel time when he was the number one fan of The Miz, now he just, he just fits so perfectly in WWE. He really does. And now you're gonna have Joe Tessitore and Corey Graves on SmackDown, so that should be. I think it's gonna be great. I feel like those two could easily establish some pretty good chemistry. Although my man Mauro Ronaldi or something. I'm sorry, I cannot recall his name at the moment. He used to announce for UFC. He used to. I think he actually did a UFC event. I think he did the Tyson and Jake Paul fight. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But the reason why he left WWE and he was so damn good was because he, kind of said that Corey Graves was like, bullying him or something like that. Well, not bullying him, but like, I don't know. I feel like it gets to a point where you kind of come to a certain age and it's like, dude, like, really? Were you trying to like kick somebody down? So hopefully, Joe Tessitore doesn't fall victim to, anything or any kind of propaganda or any kind of, slander or any kind of, just mean, rude remarks by any other, WWE commenter. Like, and I'm not trying to point names or anything like that. Corey, I'm just kidding. No, but I hope it works out. I really do hope it works out because those two, I feel like Joe Tessitore was pretty good on Monday Night Raw with Wade Barrett. And then Corey Graves, obviously he's Corey Graves. I'm not a huge fan of Corey Graves, but it is what it is. He's gonna be that heel. He's gonna be that heel voice that like you saw with Jesse Ventura, like you saw with Jerry the King Lawler when he was with Jim Ross, like Taz, like JBL, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm hoping for something. I'm hoping for it to be good. Which I think it will. I do think it's going to be good, although I might be a hater. You can call me a hater all you want, but it's not true. I'm just kidding. No, but ultimately, I do want to see, Joe Tessitore, continue his commentary. Triple H Paul Levesque said, and I quote, previously stated that this show on Monday Night Raw Netflix is going to be treated as if it's going to be a WrestleMania event. I feel like I said, I'm a bad boy. I already watched it. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see with all the lights, with all the pyro, with all, with the Travis Scott performance, like it did seem like a WrestleMania caliber night. And, and you saw a whole bunch of stars in the crowd, from movie stars to NXT stars to Raw and SmackDown superstars to legends. Overall it was, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Speaking of legends, Hulk Hogan came out. Gotta be honest, it was a little awkward. It was obviously it was a little awkward. A lot of people kind of having mixed feelings. And like I said, this podcast is not about being political in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. But you kind of gotta, call it what it is. Hulk Hogan. He was on the Trump administration. He, said he was going to body slam Kamala Harris and, stuff like that, this and that and the other. And, you're living in California. California, has the reputation of kind of being blue. So, there was booze. There was a lot of mixed emotions. But I feel like you brought Hulk Hogan out there and he kind of established all he could. Maybe not the best booking, but then again, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not going to go any further than that whatsoever. But, Hulk Hogan, being a part of, the first, Netflix was, for fans, it was a little troublesome. But, all in all, I thought it was pretty, I thought it was interesting. Travis Scott did an amazing job. He was performing. Then he came out and obviously, kind of introduced the Yeet Man, Jey Uso, Yeet. And, it was exactly, it was that PLE. It was definitely that PLE. Obviously, a lot of wrestling fans, including myself, were kind of listening, kind of, paying attention to a lot of the, a lot of the kinks, a lot of the pyros, a lot of the spots, in terms of, lighting and stuff like that. Because, the WWE Royal Rumble is February 1st. It's going to be the first PLE ever being streamed on Netflix. And, I just want it to be good. I want it to be good. And honestly, this Monday Night Raw was absolutely phenomenal. I do not have the audience ratings or the viewing ratings as of right now, but I can guarantee you it's going to be very, very good. It was overall a good presentation. It was kind of cool to see Travis Scott come by. Logan Paul was seen backstage. Didn't really make any waves. Didn't really kind of do anything, but it is what it is. It is what what can we say with the YouTube star John Cena, of course. Kicked off his farewell tour. I want to see John Cena kind of going more toward a darker kind of character. I don't want to see him go out there. Of course, when you get to that age, you're supposed to put superstars over, and I get it. But it's to the point where, I want to see John Cena kind of be a jerk. I kind of want to see him, chasing that coveted 17th world title run. I want to see him coming after that with a fistful of blades, ready to attack, ready to kill, ready to absolutely slay anybody in his way, because this is the last time he gets to do it. Who gives a crap if you're liked? Who gives a crap if you feel like do you owe the WWE universe something at this point? I feel like you got to bring the bad side, you got to bring the dark side of John Cena out here. For me, as a WWE fan, I don't want to see him coming out, with the smile and losing and giving a handshake at the end of the match. Good job, man. Like during my retirement tour, you kicked my ass. I just want to, I want to see something different for John, and I feel like it's gonna be great. The Rock, after Roman Reigns defeated Solo Sikoa in Tribal Combat, came out and gave Roman Reigns a handshake. Nothing really to be said from this. Obviously, a future bout between The Rock and Roman Reigns. I felt like if The Rock was a little bit more, involved in the Solo Sikoa Roman Reigns storyline, it would have ultimately been propelled tonight or perpetuated, but it didn't. It didn't. So that makes me think, okay, maybe they are going to, kind of save Dwayne The Rock Johnson for him to get that win at the WWE Royal Rumble. I feel like you kind of leave that open right there. Jey Uso defeats Drew McIntyre, rolls him up with a I think it was a crucifix pin. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. And Drew McIntyre just looked lost. And I got to be honest, I was lost too as a WWE fan. Drew McIntyre has been reigning terror all over this new OTC bloodline, people who are deciding to align themselves with Roman Reigns after everything that Roman Reigns has done to the WWE, holding a stronghold with the WWE Championship and the WWE Universal Championship. But I like Jey. I do like Jey. Like I said before, Roman Reigns retains he wins the Ulafala. Wins the Ulafala. He gets his wise man, Paul Heyman. After the match, though, I gotta be honest, it was a little bit, it was a little uncomfortable. I gotta be honest. Once when they got into the locker room where it said like 2K25, ooh, big deal. I wanted to see something more, but then again, maybe that's just me being selfish. Liv Morgan loses her WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship against the hungry, this is my brutality, Rhea Ripley. And, Rhea deserved this. Rhea deserved this more than that, more than anybody on the roster. I like this direction. I want to see Liv Morgan kind of stand on her own on Monday Night Raw as a heel. With the introduction of the mid-card title, with the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, I think it opens the door. It opens the door for a lot of women's wrestlers, and including, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, obviously, by all means, she does have a rematch. But if you're going to have her lose to Rhea Ripley tonight, why would you have her in a rematch, reclaim that title? I don't think it's smart. Rhea Ripley, I feel like Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, definitely the possibility of them winning the Royal Rumble is now a little bit higher, as opposed to, because I was like, if you're going to have the WWE Women's Royal Rumble winner challenge somebody as young, as ambitious, as, she's like a new fresh flavor in Tiffany Stratton, who cashed in her Money in the Bank. If you're going to have somebody like Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch come in, just kind of take the title off her, like, it just I don't know, it seems forced. It seems, doesn't really seem well, being honest. But now you kind of have Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is going to represent the company very, very well. She has been for past decades, even when she was injured. The fans love her. Honestly, I love her 1,010%. She's a well-respected, hard-working wrestler to do anything in her power to achieve success. So congratulations to the new WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion, Rhea Ripley. And I'm just hoping that this is the end. I'm hoping this is the end of this feud. You know, I don't want to keep seeing this wash, rinse, and repeat promo. Someone beats the hell out of the other person promo. Somebody comes back from an ambulance promo. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley stare each other down, and then bam, that's it. Like, so I'm hoping that this kind of stems some, you know, I want this to be something different. CM Punk defeats Seth Rollins in a match that, it was a good match. It was a clean finish. I didn't really have any problems with it. CM Punk endured 2 pedigrees, one on the announce table, a stomp, put his foot on the bottom of the rope. But then, you know, after 2 go to sleeps, you know, Seth Rollins, you know, kind of faltered. And, like, for me, I was kind of like, okay, cool, CM Punk won, yada, 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 that's cool. But they made CM Punk seem, like, unbeatable. Like, a little bit impervious to pain. And then, you know, Seth Rollins, he literally brought all the tricks out of his book. And is that really a storyline that WWE wants to portray over Seth Rollins and CM Punk? That, you know, whatever Seth Rollins has to throw at CM Punk, it's never ever going to be good enough to defeat him. I like this match kind of had me at mixed feelings, but I was kind of I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, if Seth Rollins finds a way to win, you kind of have these guys going back and forth. I ultimately think that CM Punk will win the WWE Royal Rumble, but if he doesn't, it's going to be because of Seth Rollins is going to be eliminated, and then, you know, he's going to come back into the ring, find a way to screw over CM Punk, and then bam, you have your WrestleMania match right there. But, I know CM Punk has been dying. He's been waiting to headline WrestleMania. That's part of the reason why he left the WWE, because of all the BS with Triple H, Paul Levesque, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, all the creative, basically not giving him what he wants, not giving the fans what they want. And I want to see CM Punk, justice for CM Punk to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Peto El Penta Zero Mato, or Pentagon Jr., however you want to call him. I thought he was going to make his debut tonight, never really did. Next week, possibly, I thought that was going to happen, but, never really came to fruition. The Wyatt Six and the Final Testament, not really any subtle hints whatsoever, but, we're gonna expect this feud to kind of continue. I thought besides The Rock and Penta, we were going to get a return or like a surprise, but that obviously did not really happen. Raw on Netflix, I gotta be honest, was I gotta give it a 9. No, you know what? I'm not even gonna give it an Eric Rodriguez 9. I'm going to give it an 8.5. An 8.5. It could have been better. It could have been better. Maybe I'm being a little selfish. Maybe I'm being a little bit of maybe being a little bit over dramatic, but I just thought it could have been better. I'm sorry, but overall, I feel like WWE on Monday Night Raw, on Netflix, you could totally tell from the camera angles, it was different. It was badass. It was super cool. Obviously WWE heading toward this direction of being on Netflix. It's special. It's going to be special, and that's something that Triple H, Paul Levesque is going to make sure that wrestling fans, they make sure, the product that they're showing on TV is going to be heavily invested in giving you the greatest production, all the pyro, definitely everything, you get when you're going to a live event, a concert even, however you want to look at it. This is going to be an experience. Going to a WWE show is no longer just going to some wrestling show. It's now it's going to be an experience, like going to the Super Bowl, like witnessing Michael Jordan scoring so many points on Game 6. Like seeing, Juan Soto hit a game-winning home run in the World Series. That's something that WWE wants to establish. And I felt like with this, overall, I thought, like I said, I really have no projections. I really have no objections to it. I just, it is what it is. I thought it was pretty good. All right, moving on. We have some WWE NXT New Year's Evil predictions. We're going to talk about the matches, and obviously it's airing tomorrow on the USA Network, so do not miss it. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. You join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some loose shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumor, dramas, and updates. We talk about injury statuses, inactive statuses as well. We talk about contract negotiations. We talk about extensions. We talk about new signings. We talk about any promotion in the world of wrestling like WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, the NWA, New Japan Professional Wrestling, Stardom. Basically, if it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you smash that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get notifications whenever we go live. So, don't miss a part of it. All right, just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE Monday Night RAW on Netflix premiere. We talked about the results. We talked about potential storylines, and now we're going to talk about some WWE NXT New Year's Evil predictions. But before we do any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat, whether you've got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do want to make sure you guys feel like your voice is heard. We want to make sure you guys feel like we value your opinion 1,010%, so don't be shy. Drop however you guys feel inside that chat. And of course, whatever you guys put inside that little box, hit up that $ right there. Anything you guys put inside that is going to be guaranteed to be featured on the show, talked about, maybe even debated about if it's that juicy. And we just want to make sure you guys feel like this podcast is yours just as much as it is ours. Professional wrestling, all the fans and stuff like that. Definitely, there's already a correlation. There's already there's already a balance. There's already a connective tissue to that. So just want to make sure you guys feel like you guys are definitely running the show. And, thank you in advance, first and foremost. Obviously, your super chats, your super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. It all helps. It helps us, keep the lights on in terms of, a lot of these podcasts, with where we have one passion and one focus in mind is to make sure you guys feel like your sports consumption of, of media all over the United States or any other country is being met. In this case, professional wrestling. Just if I'm missing anything in terms of the world of professional wrestling, make sure you guys hit it up in that chat so we can talk about it. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, we hit that tips and donations link. Now we're going to talk wrestling WWE NXT New Year's Evil. I can't wait to see this. NXT in terms of professional wrestling, in terms of shows. Obviously, I feel like it's the show of shows. And in terms of women's wrestling, it's the standard. For a while there, I kind of saw NXT meshing with a little bit of Ring of Honor, a little bit of TNA's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. AEW, the women's division is like, I don't know. It could be a hell of a lot better. Raw, SmackDown. I feel like on NXT there's so many stars. There's so many amazing, intricate. There's so many very, very impressive superstars in the women's division that it's just special. I don't think anybody could really touch the women's division on NXT. But let's go and talk about it. All right, we have the first match of the night. We have Tatum Paxley teaming up with Shotzi and GD Doling taking on the Fatal Influence Jasmine Nix, the NXT Women's North American Champion Fallon Henley, and JC Jane. I feel like this match is going to be won by Fatal Influence. I feel like, last time they kind of, came together as a trio, they were able to kind of pick up the victory, and you want to continue that momentum. Although, when they're separate with one-on-ones, or if it's like, 2-on-2, Fatal Influence obviously, kind of sucks and they lose. But I feel like at their full force, at their full power, them being a trio, they're unstoppable. And, I do love that Shotzi came back to NXT. I definitely think that's a great spot for her. Tatum Paxley continues to find herself into these amazing matches. So good for her. And Gigi Dolan coming back too. And it's just, it's all good. It's all gravy. Obviously, a lot of, fatal attraction with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. It's going to be in the back of JC Jane's mind. Maybe somewhere, somehow, something messes up. Maybe she gets her revenge. But overall, I don't know. It's going to be a great match. All right, we have the number one contender for the Women's North American Championship in a Fatal 4-Way match. We had the former inaugural champion, Kaylani Jordan, taking on Stephanie Vaquer, Lola Vice, and, of course, the always badass, the always, the always very innovative Cora Jade. I feel like, who's going to win this match? Who's going to win this match against Fallon Henley? Does Kaylani get a second chance? I feel like Cora Jade and Stephanie Vaquer, they obviously are at each other's throats. They want to, completely beat the hell out of each other. Lola Vice right now is maybe Jada Parker finds a way to kind of screw her over, because I ultimately feel like that feud isn't really going anywhere. But, the only logical sense right now, we got Stephanie, we got Lola in the back, kind of talking to Kaylani Jordan, being like, hey, what's going on with you? What's wrong with you? And Kaylani Jordan's like, hey, I'm just trying to be, just trying to get that ruthless aggression here. So that maybe makes me think that, which would be pretty badass. I would love to see Kaylani Jordan kind of go through a character change at the beginning of January 2025. Maybe she finds her way to kind of be a heel. That would be pretty damn interesting. She's a complete babyface. Obviously she's dating a man who is him on the SmackDown roster, who really has no problem pissing off other superstars in Carmelo Hayes. So, maybe kind of that cockiness kind of finds her way into a storyline. But I definitely want to see her being a bigger part of NXT. She did a great job representing her run as a WWE NXT Women's North American Champion, so I can see that. Furthermore, Stephanie Vaquer, she's young, she's amazing inside the ring. She's definitely going to get her hands on some gold in WWE, but right now, I don't think it's right now. Cora Jade, I would love to see Cora Jade kind of, ever since she came back to WWE from an injury, she's been literally kind of like, not the punching bag, I guess that's kind of a jerk move to say, but, she's kind of in the punching bag. I'm just kidding. No, but it seems like she's had so much potential. She's had so much potential. She could be a WWE NXT World Women's Heavyweights Champion. And then now she aligns herself with the champion, though, with the current champion, Roxanne Perez. And now it seems like all of her storylines are kind of faltering. I would love to see her kind of step out of the shadow of Roxanne Perez and become that number one contender. And maybe during the match you're going to see Stephanie Vaquer, Lola Vice, and Kayla Jordan kind of being at odds with each other, and then bam, Cora Jade, with the roll up, with the crucifix pin, finds a way to get that 1, 2, 3. So I could definitely see that happening as well. All right, we have the Heritage Cup Championship. We have a sudden death match between Charlie Dempsey and Alexis King. Is WWE solamente, are they so much invested in this character change for Alexis King to, I feel like Alexis King as a heel, he didn't really work out. But then again, it wasn't really bad. It was not really bad. As a babyface, it seems like he's doing a lot better. He reminds me of a young, cocky, arrogant Chris Jericho. That could definitely be a direction in his character. But Charlie Dempsey right now, he's good. He's great. I ultimately kind of see the No Quarter Catch Crew kind of making their way to WWE SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, especially during the Netflix era. I feel like that would be really, really good for them. But the winner of this match, I feel like, and it's going to piss off Lexus King, and it's going to force him to be, that self-righteous, that, pissed off at everybody. He's going to go back to the way he was, and he's going to be a total heel. He's going to be a total jerk, and, I feel like that's going to be that. Roxanne Perez defending her NXT Women's World Heavyweight Championship against the international sensation from Stardom. Obviously, one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, Gulia. Taking the belt off Roxanne Perez, it's kind of a gamble. It's kind of a gamble because the way she represents the company while she's the title holder is just unfathomable. She's unlike any other women's superstar I've ever seen in my life. And I've done shorts, I've done a couple of segments about this, but Roxanne Perez taking on Jordynne Grace, taking on Julia, taking on Stephanie Vaquer, taking on Zarya. Literally, she's probably fought the greatest onslaught of independent international wrestlers throughout the wrestling industry, and she still has that title around her waist. So, I can't really be too... I would love to see Julia win, but then again, I think about her winning, and I think about along down the lines, I'm like, okay, how far could he get Julia being the champion? But then Roxanne Perez has just done such an amazing job, such a stellar, she's amazing. She's simply amazing. Can she make it on SmackDown and Raw? I bet she can, but kind of thinking right now, I'm like, I'm not too sure if Raw or SmackDown should necessarily mess with the women's division on NXT. I've said that before. Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir here. I feel like in terms of this whole superstar shakeup, they should not touch the WWE NXT women's division because it's so damn impressive. Roxanne Perez going up against Julia. Honestly, WWE going a little bit more international. This is her second time facing Roxanne Perez. And I don't know. I can't predict this. I'm like 49% Julia, 51% Roxanne Perez. And, honestly, I'm just going to leave it at that. I really can't, honestly, All right, we got the triple threat match, the main event for the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion. We got Eddie Thorpe, Trick Williams, and Oba Femi. I don't want to see Oba win. Honestly don't. I honestly really don't want to see, Oba win at all whatsoever. I do love Oba. I feel like he is pretty badass. But I don't know. I just feel like right now sorry, excuse me. Okay, no, there we go. We got a chat from my man Anthony Mazzano. What are your thoughts on WWE replacing Level Up with the show called NXT Evolve? All in all, I just kind of hope that, I confirm you want, no, cancel. Sorry. I just want to see, these younger people. I want to see these younger wrestlers kind of, I want to see them, kind of find their way onto WWE SmackDown, onto WWE Monday Night Raw. So that's, honestly, that's, if the show changes, so be it. I get it. But I did like Level Up though. I thought it was I did like the the logo and everything. I thought it was pretty damn impressive. But I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right. So sorry, excuse me. Okay. Obviously, I feel like Trick's gonna he's gonna retain the title. Eddie Thorpe, though, would be a wild card. Obviously, I feel like they kind of already used that card earlier this year. Well, not earlier this year, in July, when they had, Heat Wave. Ethan Page winning. Once again, Trick Williams loses the match when he's not pinned. Oba Femi could definitely represent the WWE NXT Championship in a well-mannered way. I can see that. Trick Williams maybe making his way up to the main roster. I don't, although I would love to see it, but I just don't see it right now. I think he retains. He's got to retain. If anybody's going to take the title away from him, it has to be this brand space. It has to be fresh. And I feel like right now at this point, Eddie Thorpe, it's not fresh. Oba Femi coming off of the longest reigning NXT North American Championship. I don't feel like that's in the future as well. I feel like somebody in the end is going to screw over Oba Femi. I gotta be honest. Or Oba finds his way onto the Raw roster or SmackDown roster, which would be pretty badass. I would definitely love to see that as well. We got a couple chats here with my man Anthony Mazzano. For me, character like Oba, it's fine without a title. It would be cool for him to have it, but he doesn't need to have the NXT Championship, and I agree 1,010%. He already has this huge persona inside the locker room to the point where he does not need a title. You're right. He does not need a title to be feared. He does not need a title to be respected. He does not need a title to ultimately be involved in the storylines of NXT. Thorpe is there to take the pin. There is no way to have Oba take the... Yeah. No. I agree with that 1,010%. Honestly, that's exactly why Eddie Thorpe is there. No reason, no which way, or, whatsoever. I definitely love that take by Anthony Mazzano. I feel like it's going to be Eddie Thorpe taking the pinfall after a trick shot, and still the NXT World Champion Trick Williams. I don't know. I just feel like that's the future. All right, guys. So hey, do not go anywhere. We're gonna jump on into our next segment, which is We're gonna talk about some of the best moments on Monday Night Raw. So if you guys remember some of the Monday Night Raw episodes in 2024, make sure you drop them inside that chat so we can talk about them. But I have my top, my handful. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. Here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage current calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions like WWE, to AEW, to Stardom, to New Japan Professional Wrestling, to the NWA, to the GCW. If it makes major news, headlines in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. Just going to reflect on what we talked about right quick. Make sure you guys check out these videos on YouTube. We talked about our WWE Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix. And then we talked about, what did we talk about? NXT, that's right. NXT New Year's Evil, we predicted those matchups. Had a pretty good, a couple of awesome hot takes in the chat. So make sure you guys keep those chats coming. And now without further ado, we're going to talk about some of the best moments on the Monday Night Raw during the year of 2024. Obviously, these are my opinion, 1,010%. If you guys have some pretty awesome moments that you guys want to share, make sure you guys, hit it up. First and foremost, we have Punk and Rollins finally starting their rivalry, which we've been anticipating as wrestling fans for, quite some time now. But now we got it. Obviously, the first match was tonight on Netflix, which you saw CM Punk pick up the victory against Seth Rollins after 2 go-to-sleeps. And, CM Punk, he took a beating. He really did take a beating. He kicked out of 2 pedigrees. He put his foot on the bottom rope after a stomp. And Seth Rollins hit the go-to-sleep as well. And, it wasn't enough to put down that CM Punk guy from Chicago, Illinois. So, the voice of the voiceless continues to be badass, continues to be a juggernaut, continues to be a force to be reckoned with in the WWE universe. He's not that old, guys. He's not that old. So definitely gotta love that. All right, that was my number 1. All right, we have Cody Rhodes and The Rock in 2024 trading titles. That this is awkward. This is awkward. Where you had, hey, honestly, you can hold mine if I get to hold yours. Like, you know what I mean? At first, it was a little funny. Come on, guys. Not dirty-minded whatsoever, but it was pretty damn funny. That was pretty crazy. This bout definitely, helped spur the feud between the final boss and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And, it's only going to get better in the future. So, this hold my title, I'll hold your title definitely was one of the most iconic moments in WWE this year. Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio saying that I hate you, Liv. And then Liv Morgan walks out with the Dirty Dom shirt with, excuse me. Daddy Dom walks out and she's absolutely disgruntled. She's absolutely heartbroken, which obviously led to that clean turn of Dominic Mysterio betraying Rhea Ripley, helping Liv Morgan become the new WWE World's Women's Heavyweight Champion. Obviously, tonight on Raw, you saw Rhea Ripley regain her title, but this was one of the best moments on Raw. I gotta be honest. It was great because this whole time you saw Liv Morgan flirting with Dominic Mysterio, and you had the speculation of a WWE fan that was like, you know what? Something's got to happen. If this Dominic Mysterio heel turn's going to happen, which it kind of took a little bit of it took its time, but at the end it all made sense, which is great. Under the Triple H Fall of Ek era, I thought that was pretty awesome. Liv Morgan selling and ultimately kind of being one of the best actresses in WWE, was able to kind of do this daddy Dom, I hate you, Liv, and she was like, oh my god, this is so sad. And then during SummerSlam, ultimately it came in full circle where she looked up at Daddy Dom and she was like, oh my god, you do love me. Overall, it was funny. It was kind of crazy. I definitely liked that. Jimmy and Solo Sikoa screw Jey Uso out of a match, obviously not simultaneously, but each separately, which is, I feel like, with this whole Bloodline storyline, I hated it once when they turned Jimmy against Jey and had that match at WrestleMania. Ultimately, I kind of knew, not like trying to pat myself on the back, not trying to be like, hey, like, I know more than you guys all freaking suck, but I knew this was going to happen. Why would you... Jey Uso as a singles competitor, as his own character, as his own storyline, it just does not work. He needs his brother. Jey Uso by himself, yeah, honestly, yeah, it could work. But, him being by himself, Jey Uso, it just doesn't quite fit. And I'm not trying to, downgrade Jimmy Uso to be like, hey, dude, you're never going to be anything without your brother. I'm not trying to say that. Yeah, but I am. I'm just kidding. No. But, if Jimmy Uso, let's just face it, guys. Come on. Be true to yourselves. Do you see Jimmy Uso ever contending for the WWE Championship? Do you ever see him contending for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Do you ever see him Intercontinental United States Championship? Hell, even the WWE Speed Championship. Jimmy Uso's nothing without his brother, and it's kind of sad, but not really, because Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso together are magic. And Jimmy Uso, has had a lot of tag team accolades to the point where he can look at all the haters and he can pull a Paul Heyman and be like, but if you think that way, you can suck my skin, But I feel like Jey Uso is on the up and up. Jimmy Uso, having them had that little feud just to kind of hug it out 6 months later, it was kind of pointless. It was super pointless, and I knew that it was going to, kind of come in well-rounded, which I'm kind of happy it did. R-Truth is kicked out of the Judgment Day. Such a sad moment on Monday Night Raw. I love R-Truth. He's so freaking funny. Even even when this happened, Damian Priest was like, you know what, man? I think you're so freaking funny and I have so much respect for you. I'm not going to be the one to do this. And then JD McDonough, that slimy freak, comes out and he attacks R-Truth, and just the way R-Truth, he's just funny as hell. He's super funny. Every single time he comes on the mic, you just gotta laugh. He definitely helped break character in terms of WWE. For a lot of superstars that were like, I don't know, they're trying to be tough guys, but then, he even broke up Brock Lesnar. So I thought that was kind of funny. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, their feud that lasted, it lasted for days. From them stealing a bracelet back and forth with the name of AJ and Larry, with, CM Punk destroying and shoving the beads down the throat of the voiceless CM Punk. Drew McIntyre winning the Money in the Bank, just ultimately to be screwed by CM Punk. And then, Drew McIntyre cashing in his Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40, just to be screwed over by CM Punk. Bam, here comes Damian Priest. This feud, it took a while, man. I gotta be honest, it took a while, but at the end of the day, it made sense. It was good. It was great for the WWE. It was good for Punk, and it was also good for Drew McIntyre. So, definitely one of my favorite moments of Monday Night Raw is these two guys going at it. Next, we have The Rock. The Rock returning to WWE, obviously interrupting the modern-day Maharaja. Damn it. I totally spaced on his name. I don't know why I wanted to say Oro Mensah. Oh my God, what was his name? Oh, the guy who recently got released by WWE. I can't think of his name right now. The modern day Maharaja. Oh my God, I can't believe Jinder Mahal. There we go, Jinder Mahal. He came out and everybody was all expecting. Because it was like, oh, someone's going to come in. Someone's going to return to WWE, a former WWE champion. Everybody was so excited. And then out came Jinder Mahal. And it was one of the last times you saw Jinder Mahal on WWE television, which is kind of sad. I feel like it's kind of a little bit, it's kind of effed up. But, they did what they had to do. But the best part of this was The Rock was like, he came out. He teased fighting Roman Reigns for the Ula Fala, teased fighting him for the championship. Obviously, during the WrestleMania press conference, you saw Cody Rhodes kind of get, you saw Cody Rhodes kind of step aside and gave The Rock his blessing, have him take his Royal Rumble WrestleMania spot. And then The Rock comes out on this, on Monday Night Raw. He was like, you know what? The Rock, he loves himself a good bar. So should The Rock sit at the bar or should The Rock sit at the head of the table? And everybody goes absolutely bananas and absolutely crazy. So definitely one of the best moments of Monday Night Raw. I thought that was pretty badass. The Wyatt Six makes their eerie, creepy, horrific, horror movie-like entrance. And their, basically debuts, Bo Dallas, obviously all the other Wyatt Six members, which as of right now, I gotta feel like right now WWE, I know you added an extra hour on Monday Night Raw today, so, God bless. I think that's awesome. It's going to be great. They need more time with this stable. This whole Bo Dallas thing with Uncle Howdy and, with the whole Bray Wyatt, Bray Wyatt left some pretty big shoes to fill once when he left this earth, obviously, God bless. But nobody could do it like Bray. Bo, he tries. And I feel like with Netflix being implemented in the storyline, creativity aspect in terms of Monday Night Raw, maybe you might kind of have like a horror movie kind of feel. And you can see the Y6 kind of being a little bit more put over. But as of right now, I feel like it could be better for these guys. Definitely 1,010%. Next, we have Gunther talking to Bret Hart, saying that my favorite wrestler has always and will be Bill Goldberg. And oh my God, what a jerk. What a jerk. Can't believe he said that. Obviously, those who don't know, Bill Goldberg, he hit a kick at Bret Hart, at the head. He claims in multiple interviews and multiple sources that he told him to watch out for the kick. Bret Hart still to this day doesn't believe that, that he didn't hear anything. And then bam, he got concussed. Every single time he stepped into the ring and tried to perform a match, he could not, his equilibrium was off. It just was never the same. Forcing one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, Bret the Hitman Hart, retire at, kind of a young age. Bill Goldberg still to this day says, it's an accident. And I think it's an accident as well. I do. I believe that 1,010%. But just Gunther coming out here and be like, you know who my favorite wrestler is? Bret Hart's like, yeah, tell me. Bill Goldberg. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty badass. Definitely adding to the tension. Next, we have Logan Paul gets Super Bowl rings from Patrick Mahomes to try to take out, I think it was Braun Strowman. Was it Braun Strowman? I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. And a lot of people kind of thought, Patrick Mahomes he's a heel. He's a heel. Do you believe this guy? And honestly, in the world of the NFL, he is kind of a heel. He's already trying to chase his back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl victory, which, guys, come on, by all means, it's going to happen. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be your 2024-2025 Super Bowl champions. I don't like it, but it's going to happen. I definitely think it's going to happen. I feel like at the Super Bowl, you're going to have this WrestleMania caliber storyline where you have the heel that is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the babyface, the Cody Rhodes of the Detroit Lions. And then, this time, Kansas City will get the best of them. They'll get that record. Honestly, does anybody else deserve this more than Patrick Mahomes? Honestly, think about it. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. A lot of people like to compare him to Brady, but as of this moment, he's better. He has more rings. And I know, rings aren't this and that and the other. Who gives a crap? It's not the same thing. I get it, and your arguments are very, very valid. But at the same time, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dynasty they're doing right now, Andy Reid is relatively, as in terms of being a head coach, he's young. Patrick Mahomes, he's super young. And these guys can definitely make a run. The next decade and a half, it's going to be run by the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm a New York Giants fan. So I'm effed. I'm screwed. I've kind of accepted that fact. So I'm like, you know what? It doesn't really bother me at this point. I know the Giants probably won't win the Super Bowl for, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. 20 years. I'm going to say 20 years. I don't really see them, especially during the Patrick Mahomes era, doing anything to kind of, dethrone Andy Reid and the Chiefs. I just don't see anybody doing that. But, maybe we can hope for Josh Allen. Maybe we can hope for Lamar Jackson, those two going at it for the league's MVP. But, I don't know. It just seems dire at this moment. But anyways, we had Logan Paul, getting some Super Bowl rings by Patrick Mahomes. Next, we have Bronson Reed, 6 tsunamis on Seth Rollins. The fans were even chanting, "One more time, one more time, one more time." In an interview, Bronson Reed was kind of like, you know what? The fans kind of liked it, so I just kind of kept, I just kind of kept going. So Bronson Reed, of course, obviously injured right now. Gonna make his comeback, I think, in about a couple months. The Rock, Cody Rhodes, Mama Rhodes, the Mama Rhodes booking, the Mama Rhodes storyline, the Mama Rhodes promo where he was getting his ass beat in the back. It was raining, it was wet. Cody Rhodes was busted open and The Rock was just, completely kicking ass and taking names. Big E gets kicked out of the New Day. One of my favorite Monday Night Raw moments. Obviously, I think Big E's making his way back. But Jey Uso wins his first ever singles title, obviously defeating the WWE Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker. But of course, he lost it thanks to Solo Sikoa and the New Bloodline, which kind of sucked, but, you kind of had to have Jey Uso being kind of consumed by this, WWE Survivor Series storyline. Because if you did not have the original Bloodline back together, it's kind of like no point. So I understand why WWE did it. All right, we talked about the best Monday Night Raw moments of 2024, and now we're going to talk about the best SmackDown. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 20 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alright, now we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage, current calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about, inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about, promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button so you guys can get some cool notifications whenever we have a new video or whenever we go live. So, just kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had... we talked about some WWE Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix. We talked about that. We also talked about WWE NXT New Year's Evil. We talked about the best moments on WWE Monday Night Raw in 2024. And now we're going to talk about the best moments of WWE SmackDown in 2024. It was a good year. It was a good year, guys. You got those who had a bad year, I apologize. I definitely hope it turns around. Definitely don't stop trying. Don't stop trying. Definitely don't think that anything you guys, you can't accomplish is out of your reach. Just know that if you put you set your mind to it, just know that, you can do absolutely anything with the help of your friends, your family, your peers, whomever, your coworkers or whatever you can achieve, you can accomplish. You can dig yourself out of anything that you can, that you feel like you're, kind of deep in. And I know at this point in time, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, New Year's resolutions this, New Year's resolutions that. Believe me, I have a list. I have 25 New Year's resolutions, and just, definitely going to get this off my chest so you guys don't feel bad as well. I haven't accomplished any one of them. I got to be honest. Like, it's only the 6th day of this year. Just takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of a consistency, and just know that whatever you guys do, whatever you guys go try to set out to accomplish, just be yourself. Just definitely treat others with respect and love, and at the end of the day, you can be happy. You can be happy. All right, so we have our best WWE SmackDown moments of 2024. We have Miss Tiffany Stratton receiving her custom Money in the Bank briefcase by her bestie Nia Jax, obviously. Kind of came back and bite her in the ass. On this past Friday on SmackDown, you saw Tiffany Stratton become the WWE Women's Champion, pinning Nia Jax, which was gonna happen. Which was gonna happen. It was bound to happen, and definitely think it was the right thing to do. The OG Bloodline comes at full strength before Survivor Series. Obviously, before CM Punk joins or anything like that. Sami Zayn was able to Helluva Kick Solo Sikoa, and at the end of the night, it was We the Ones. Definitely thought that was a pretty awesome spot. Shinsuke Nakamura returns to the WWE with a brand new persona. Comes back, WWE has been so mainstream. WWE has never really had any kind of competition in terms of viewing because, wrestling independent circuits, it's all streaming. It's all necessarily, or on YouTube, which is good and it could work. But, I feel like WWE's kind of like that poppy, that mainstream bubblegum feel. And Shinsuke Nakamura went to the NOAH, went to New Japan, also went back, he went to Japanese style wrestling once again. And he kind of realized himself, he's like, you know what I was doing on WWE, it's not me. And throughout his success, throughout his new WWE United States title run, you've seen him kind of embrace in terms of creative, New Japan Professional Wrestling, in terms of, his wrestling style. Something you'd see like Tomohiro Ishii, Konosuke Takeshita. You would see like superstars like that, or, Kazuchika Okada. Like there's, a different style to Shinsuke Nakamura ever since he came back to WWE. So definitely love that. Next, we had the Final Testament. Obviously, you saw Akam and Razar, the authors of Pain, come back to WWE after not being featured on this show for about 2 years there to attack the Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley, and of course, Cedric Alexander. No, I don't think it was Cedric Alexander. I think it was. No, you know what? I think it was. No, maybe. No, I think it was the Street Profits. at the time. Obviously introducing this whole new Final Testament kind of thing, which, hasn't really came in fruition. Still to this day, I feel like the Final Testament, has been a huge failure in terms of, being a faction. But, Bobby Lashley, man, being in AEW right now. But, I would love to see Bobby stay in WWE. But, hey, you know what? It is what it is. The Wise Man makes a deal, comes out on WWE SmackDown to unveil the 5th member of the original Bloodline, their War Games partner, which proves to be CM Punk. So definitely thought that was pretty cool. A lot of people definitely like that. Next, we have the Motor City Machine Guns changed to SmackDown, tag team division, coming and winning in their third match, winning the WWE tag team title. So I thought that was pretty badass. Jacob Fatu, able to, the Samoan Werewolf. Overall, just the introduction of this new young bloodline, Tama Tonga Tangaloa, Jacob Fatu, all on SmackDown. Thought that was pretty badass. The Samoan Werewolf, when his debut, took out Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes. I thought, obviously Jacob Fatu, super impressive, super duper impressive. One of the best that WWE has signed in years, definitely. But I'm not trying to crap on anybody else. But he's just out there. He's out there. He's him. He's successful, and this is something that WWE can definitely wrap their arms around. In terms, you have this OG bloodline, new bloodline storyline. Who wants to take the Ula Fala? Who wants to be the tribal chief? Anybody could take it. What if Jacob steps up and he's like, you know what? I want to try. Like, Jacob Fatu could definitely be a singles wrestler on his own. He could be a champion. But obviously, WWE's breakout star of the year could definitely be something bigger and better than what he's kind of subsided to right now. But, I have faith in Jacob. I think, I thought it was a great pickup by WWE. Before he got signed by WWE, you used to watch him during the MLW, obviously when he used to team up with Zila. Just the stuff that he did, it was just out of the ordinary for a man his size. And the fact that he made it WWE, he made such an impact has not really been such a surprise to me. I kind of saw it coming. Like I said, I'm not trying to seem like that know-it-all kind of thing. But Jacob Fatu, he's special. He's an amazing wrestler, and I'm so happy to see him finally reach his full potential. I'm finally happy to see him being respected in the wrestling world, and it sucks that you had to put that WWE tag on him. But even when he was wrestling independents, he was still badass, even in the MLW. So congratulations to Jacob Fatu. One of my favorite moments of 2024, the first ever WWE Women's Dumpster match taking on between Chelsea Green and Mi Chin. This match was pretty funny. It was pretty cool. It was new, intricate. Seeing these girls kind of go at it, they kind of set up the, Mi Chin and Chelsea Green. Probably one of the greatest feuds on SmackDown right now, and not just the women's, but in the men's as well. I feel like they're doing super duper well. Chelsea Green, obviously, she was crowned the first ever inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion. So I can't really take anything away from her in terms of that. But this match was, was pretty awesome. Cody Rhodes slaps the crap out of The Rock. Obviously, this was later after The Rock slapped the taste out of his mouth for disrespecting him during the WWE WrestleMania press conference. Thought that was pretty badass. Paul Heyman, the wise man, goes through a table. He just looked, when he went to the table, I gotta be honest, I was generally scared. I was like, holy crap. This old man, and even when he was going up, he had his beard and it was all gray, and then they put him through that table, and I was like, dude, this guy's dead. He's dead. And obviously he's not dead, but no, it was pretty sketch. Bayley gets kicked out of Damage Control. She's betrayed by Dakota Kai. I remember when this happened. They were leading up to it, but I thought this was pretty good. I thought this was ultimately a good booking. I definitely like, Bayley being out of her own comfort zone. She's not, her as a heel, I hated it at first, but as it kind of came around, I feel like her turning heel ultimately saved her career. You couldn't keep that same Bayley buddies and shit and stuff like that, and her giving hugs and that's all good and everything, but at the end of the day, you got to reach into your bag of tricks and kind of dive deep into this darkness that you can ultimately perpetuate and ultimately kind of use against your opponent inside the squared circle. So I feel like Bayley, you see it, I kind of see it right now. Every single time she steps inside the ring, she just looks like a whole different person. Her losing Damage Control, it was necessary, and I definitely thought it was one of the best moments of 2024. Kevin Owens pile drives, Cody Rhodes, causing him to go to the hospital, bringing back a banned move. I thought that was actually pretty exciting. That was pretty crazy. AJ Styles fakes retirement. And, pulling a Mark Henry, my boy pulling a Mark Henry right here. I thought that was, that was funny as hell. Love that. We have the hug it out moment between Jimmy and Jey Uso after all the, after all the animosity, after their match at WrestleMania 40. And then, after everything that happened with Cody finishing his story, Jimmy Uso comes back, tries to bring the Bloodline back together to take down Solo Sikoa. Definitely, love this hug it out kind of moment. And the last final moment of SmackDown that I remember being super badass was The Rock coming back to the Bloodline. Ultimately, a lot of people still kind of had this, is The Rock and Roman Reigns actually partners? Are they actually partners? And The Rock grabbed the mic. He's like, if you smell... And then Roman Reigns put down the mic. He was like, no, you're not going to outshine me. You're not going to think that you are the tribal chief. You're not going to think you're the leader of this group. I need you to acknowledge me. And The Rock kind of looked at him. And he was like, this freaking guy. And then he was like, I acknowledge you. He eventually acknowledged him. But that moment, oh my God. So tense. I thought The Rock was going to say F it. He starts attacking, everybody in the Bloodline. He was like, I'm going to start my own Bloodline. But no, he, the Rock is, he's smart. What's, behind his bag of tricks? Maybe he finds a way into it, heading up toward WrestleMania. But, the final boss, he's the final boss. Definitely one of the best WWE superstars of all time. And, I can't wait to see what they do with The Rock heading forward. All right, guys, our fifth and final segment. Going to try to wrap this up quick here. We got New Japan Professional Wrestling's Wrestle Dynasty 2025 results. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds, so do not go anywhere. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action, inside and outside of the ring, backstage current calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about, inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about, contract negotiations, new signings, extensions. We talk about, promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to the National Wrestling Alliance. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on the show 1,010%. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the show so you guys can get some notifications whenever we all go live. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into our fifth and final segment. We got the New Japan Professional Wrestling Wrestle Dynasty results. I watched highlights. Thought it was pretty badass. Thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, getting into the independent wrestling circuit, I definitely love the, New Japan Professional Wrestling inside, the Tokyo Dome. Inside that dang Tokyo Dome. All right, so without further ado, let's go and talk about some of the matches. All right, first and foremost, we had Persephone, Momo. Oh, God, when it comes to I always mess up with the thing. Momo Watanabe. We had Willow Nightingale against. We had fatal four-way match Athena for the International Women's Cup. We saw Momo win, so which was I feel like it was right. It was the right thing to do. Of Stardom, she defeats Willow Nightingale, AEW, Persephone, the CMLL, and Athena, Ring of Honor. Willow Nightingale, she's a TBS champion. She's also a former CMLL World Women's Champion as well. Athena too, she's the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion, not just for the men's, but for the women's as well. So, a win like that, that's pretty damn impressive. So, definitely, she should definitely, count her blessings and not, definitely hang her head high after what happened on Saturday. All right, next we have Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara taking on Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Show. Like I said, guys, when it comes to the, I'm not too crazy, for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, the Sons of Texas, Dustin, House of Torture, Show, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. We're going to call it a Kamarat. But, you saw Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, obviously, successfully defend their titles, which, you kind of knew was going to happen. Well, for me, I knew that was going to happen because this tag team is very, very good. Sammy Guevara in the early ages of AEW, and like I've told you guys before recently, since you've seen AEW kind of have Dynamite being able to stream on HBO Max, I've been watching a lot of old episodes, even when like Cody Rhodes was there and like, CM Punk. And Sammy Guevara was like that prince that was promised, and he was supposed to be like, I feel like he was supposed to be like the face, kind of like where you had Randy Orton team up with like, Evolution and Triple H, and then you saw Randy Orton kind of be that 14-time world champion. But Sammy Guevara, I feel like, he kind of fell off the face of the planet for quite some time. And now teaming with Dustin Rhodes, nothing against the Sons of Texas, but, I feel like Sammy could have, he could have had a lot more potential. But that's just, being me. We had a Lucha Libre gauntlet match. We had an 8-man Lucha Libre. We had Taji Ishimori defeat Hechicero, Kotsi Fujita. We he also defeated Saburano Jr., Master Wado, Master Wado. We had Mascara Dorado. We had Titan. We had El Desperado. So we had Taji Ishimori win that 8-man Lucha Libre Gauntlet match. So obviously congrats to that guy. We saw Katsuyori Shibata and Hiroshi Tanahashi in a special exhibition match. I think this was the grappling match that it went to a draw. Which is kind of the style of New Japan Professional Wrestling, which is something that's like, in terms of watching wrestling my whole life, it's like, oh, a draw? What the hell? That never happens. But this match was pretty badass. It was pretty great. I definitely think both of these superstars, obviously represented that Japanese style kind of wrestling, or, scratch that. Even that independent wrestling super well. Katsuyori Shibata, definitely one of my favorite wrestlers. When you see him on AEW from time to time on Rampage or Saturday Night Collision, I get a little excited. But Tanahashi as well. Damn. Nothing's more special than Tanahashi. I like Hiroshi because he finds a way to... watching highlights and stuff like that, he finds a way to ultimately use what the opponent is giving him. Like, he kind of uses their strengths to his own advantage. Like, he's kind of like that slippery, he's kind of like that snake oil salesman that, he'll lullaby you to sleep inside the ring, and then bam, out of nowhere, he'll hit you with like a major suplex, a submission, or just anything off the top rope. So, two of these superstars definitely, instant classic to watch. Make sure you guys have any free time to check out that match on YouTube. Mercedes Mone defeats Mina Shirakawa for the British Women's World Championship, and now she has 4 belts. I'm not too sure. But Shirakawa, I thought this was her time. I really honestly did. I thought, in New Japan Professional Wrestling, her being the women's strong champion, it would just fit so damn well. But I'm not trying to be a jerk, or I'm not trying to be a dictator or anything like that. Tony Khan loves to give Mercedes Mone all the titles in the world. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Mercedes Mone's, her gift inside the ring. But ultimately, I feel like the women's division on AEW is kind of crippled because Tony Khan keeps giving Mercedes Mone win after win after win. When you saw Julia Hart or Willow Nightingale defending that TBS championship, you saw people from all over, and you saw great matches. But if you have them in matches against Mercedes Mone where you're kind of thinking to yourself, it's like, all right, Mercedes is going to win anyways. It doesn't really make it that exciting. I wanted to see Mina Shirakawa come out the victor of this one, but since she didn't, like I said, not trying to throw any shade or anything like that, definitely got to give some respect and some love to Mercedes Mone, the CEO of professional wrestling and the self-proclaimed best women's wrestler in the entire world. So, congratulations to Mercedes Mone. All right, we had David Finlay in a singles match about to take on, Brody King. And, surprisingly, you saw Brody King, he looks big, he looks bad, and I thought he was going to pick up this match. I thought he was going to win pretty easily. But Finlay, I got to be honest, kind of got me going. He's kind of like that awesome underdog not underdog, I don't want to say that because I don't want to be misconstruing anything. But, he did what he had to do to take on that big guy. So, you got to respect David right there. I thought that was a pretty awesome match. I thought it was pretty good. Brody King, all respect to him as well. I definitely love how, the House of Black recently has been kind of, kind of being, well, before, I have not seen, or maybe because I haven't really been, well, I watch Rampage here and there in Collision, but, like, what's up with Malachi Black? Like, what's up with all that, what's up with Buddy Matthews? Like, and then Brody King, too. Like, what's going on with all those guys? But overall, it was kind of cool to see Finlay pick up the dub there. All right, next we have Shota Umino defeat Claudio Castagnoli of the Death Riders. And Castagnoli as well. He's been on a losing streak, which makes me think that maybe in the future he's going to jump toward a Continental Championship match and finally defeat Kazuchika Okada. I feel like that'd be awesome. I feel like that'd be great for Castagnoli, but Umino, definitely one of the best wrestlers in the world, obviously in Japan, in America, outside of, in whatever country. You meet that guy inside the ring, guess what? You're going to be broken down. He's going to test your strength. He's going to find a way for you to kind of doubt all the wrestling abilities that you've learned inside the squared circle being trained by big, bad professionals. So, Umino, I like Shota. I feel like he's pretty badass. And I know I might be, pronouncing his name wrong, and I apologize. Shota, Umino. So, I don't know, I thought that was, pretty good match. Tomohiro Ishii loses against Konosuke Takeshita, never openweight championship and the AEW International Championship. Konosuke Takeshita, this guy literally, within the past couple of months, I feel like he's kind of sprung up overnight. And I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything like that, but I feel like before this whole Don Callis family, and it sucks that he has to join a scumbag like Don Callis to finally achieve success. Tomohiro Ishii, too, this guy's a badass. This guy takes hits. This guy will look you dead in the face and be like, hey, you know what? Punch me, see what happens. Then he punches him. He's like, you know what? Give me one more. He's ruthless. Konosuke Takeshita defeating him, I like it. I feel like it's great. I definitely love the direction that they're going with Takeshita, because before he did this whole, before he was the AEW International Champion, he was, I feel like he was kind of misrepresented. I feel like he could have lived up more to his hype, could have lived up more to his potential. But, in AEW, I feel like when Tony Khan finally got that deal done with the CMLL, New Japan Professional Wrestling, also Ring of Honor, was like, all right, now we're going to make this guy into a total badass who wins and wins and wins. And Konosuke Takeshita defeats Tomohiro Ishii at Wrestle Dynasty. So I definitely, love that. It's pretty cool. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson of the Young Bucks become the IWGP Tag Team Champions. Against Tatsuyuki Naito, Hiromu Takahashi, and Great Khan and Jeff Cobb. I don't hate the Young Bucks winning gold. I don't. I don't. I personally, and maybe this might kind of dip into my bias of like, hey, dude, I've been recently watching old episodes of AEW. The Young Bucks need to get to their roots. I watched that AEW All Access and Insiders and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, we used to practice in the backyard. We had a wrestling ring. It's in our blood. Hometown boys. From Rancho Cucamonga. That's right in my backyard. I live in Hemet, California. Like, I'm right there, literally. So I could definitely respect these two guys making it into the wrestling industry. Not even just in America, international. These guys are international stars. Maybe it's that bias of the IE. I'm just kidding. No, the Inland Empire. That I'm like, you know what? I want to see these guys do good. And this whole EVP stupid, thing with AEW where they were the bad guys and they controlled the production truck and they controlled what was happening and they suspended Hangman Adam Page and attacked Kenny Omega and Jack Perry as well involved in it. The Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, the AEW Continental Champion. I want to see the Young Bucks get back to themselves. I don't want to see them be like, oh, we're the EVPs, we're the top nose around here, guys. Guess what? Whatever we say goes. Bam, boom. See ya. We don't want to be ya. Nobody wants to see that. I, as a wrestling fan, do not want to see that. I want to see the Young Bucks be themselves. and them winning the IWGP Championship, I feel like, and I'm not trying to stir any kind of rumors or anything like that, Tony Khan had their characters in this direction that I feel like, and even according to reports, I feel like Matthew and Nicholas Jackson didn't really want this EVP thing. They didn't want to be the heels in AEW. They're like, look, like, Rhodes is gone, Omega's injured, CM Punk is out, we need something to be big. And Tony Khan was like, oh, bright idea right here. Let's turn you guys heel. We'll get, Kaz Okada inside the mix. We'll get Jack Perry, and you guys will be this huge, dominant faction that you guys just run the show and you guys give me a broken neck. Not really. Not really good. Not really any good. Jon Moxley, Death Riders, good. They belong in that spot. Some people belong in that storyline. And Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, I feel like they kind of thought to themselves after Tony Khan came up to them and approached them with that idea. They're like, you know what? Dude, we're simple tag team runners here. We're just trying to, do what we love every day. And we just want to, we just want to be, it's my brother. Hey, man, how's it going? This is the ultimate dream if you're a wrestling fan and if you have a brother, becoming tag team champions. And, I feel like Tony Khan trying to make a little bit more of the Young Bucks that ultimately, they left. They left AEW. They were like, you know what? We're gone. This and that and the other. Well, obviously, kayfabe and AEW storyline. They're like, you know what? We're gone. We're going to take a little break. And, them winning the IWGP Championship, having them spend some time in New Japan, I would not whatsoever bring up anything in terms of the Elite. I feel like when they come back to AEW, Kazuchika Okada probably will not be the AEW Continental Champion. Jack Perry obviously lost his TNT Championship, so it's not really much of a, much of a fray in that, so to speak. You got to break these guys up. You have the right to have a fresh start. New year, new me, 2025, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson get back to their roots and become the best Young Bucks that they could possibly be, and it's great for the wrestling universe. All right, we had Jack Perry. Speaking of Jack Perry, trying to gain the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, did not do so. We had Tatsuji defeat him. Obviously, it was actually pretty convincing. Kenny Omega in his first match back, going up against Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd has a mouth on him. He wanted to challenge Randy Orton. He wanted to challenge Cody Rhodes. But then you had one of the best international wrestling stars in the world, Kenny Omega, come back in his return and, lay the smackdown. Definitely love that. In the main event, Zack Sabre Jr. successfully defends his title against Ricochet. Ricochet, on AEW Dynamite, with the scissors, bro. With the scissors against Swerve Strickland. That's nuts. That's absolutely insane in the membrane. Insane on no brain. But it was pretty interesting, and we're going to see more of a darker side of Ricochet. And for one, I'm excited to see it. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. It's all water under the bridge already. It's all gravy, baby. Don't even worry about it. Make sure you guys hit up those chats whenever these podcasts go live. Tell us how you feel. Absolutely, 1,010%. Do not hold back. I'm just kidding. No, don't hold back. We have all these other podcasts. If I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have Nelson, we have Jeremy with all around sports from baseball, hockey, football, basketball, you name it. Maybe there's dodgeball tournaments out there. Who knows? We have the NFL winding down. Make sure you tune into the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny. Also Kenneth of the GSMC Football Podcast. We have college football too. It's bowl season. We got my boy Tommy with the GSMC College Football Podcast. And we have fantasy sports, not just NFL at all right now, because I feel like a lot of the NFL fantasy leagues are, off season. But we have NBA, we have hockey, we have a whole bunch of other sports. Make sure you tune into Chris Shepard's GSMC Fantasy Sports podcast. So make sure you guys do not miss a lick of that action. Make your team into a WWE Championship caliber team. Do not miss it at all whatsoever. Please don't. Please don't. Also, make sure you guys tune into the GSMC book review podcast with Sarah Meckler. Obviously, you gotta show some love. Obviously, it's not always about sports on the GSMC podcasting network. Definitely, make sure you guys, look out for a lot of awesome podcasts that we're trying to create. Obviously, with this, heading into the new year, we want to make sure that you guys feel like you're ultimately entertained from sports, from things like book reviews, for things like, who knows? Maybe we'll have a podcast about, how to fix a car or how to, change a tire. You name it. It's all in the future. It's all gravy, baby. So make sure you guys like, subscribe to this network. You guys will not you guys will not hate subscribing. I give you that Rodriguez guarantee that you guys will be loved. That you guys will love getting all the awesome content that you guys love to consume on a daily basis. So don't regret being a part of this amazing network. Well, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys had a great show. I had a great show. It was pretty awesome. It was kind of cool to be live again once again. I know I kind of went way over the limit. But, obviously, my boy Emran, Godspeed. Hopefully, good stuff's coming his way. Many blessings. So, first and foremost, stay beautiful. And, of course, as always, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go